Okay, a couple more myths because the other video cut out on me. I'm so tired of having to say all this. But apparently, everything that's actually ever happened to me, I'm being retaliated against for. Meaning, because of the other girl that's passed my life off as hers, people are trying to get even with me, the original person who went through it to begin with, and put me through it again to get even, because she's a fraud and she lied about everything. So not only did I have to go through it once and twice before the world found out about it and before she started using it to her advantage, but now that she's been crowned whatever the hell she's been crowned, other than fraud hoax of the fucking century that deserves to fucking... I don't even know what she deserves. I don't want to say it out loud, but I'd love to just see her humiliated in public. So anyway, now that she's been crowned whatever she's been crowned, she has directed undeserved hatred towards the actual victim of the crime, of the original crime, me. So I had $900 stolen from me. It was a $900 check. It was a Medicaid reimbursement check. Well, actually, it was a check that Medicaid was giving me, reimbursing me for 10 months worth of Medicare that I paid over. Like, I paid overages. And so I had a $900 check coming to me that I waited 4 months for. And then when I lost my job in Las Vegas because of sabotage, because the Hilton Grand Vacations in Las Vegas that hired me ultimately didn't believe I was who I said I was because of this other fraud who has such a large following. And also they knew that this guy was considering marrying me, and so they sabotage me whenever some guy is considering marrying me, because once I get married, they can no longer get to me. They no longer have access. They won't be able to use me like they have been. And so they sabotage me every time. They tell people things, they've told these guys everything. That's where all the criminal accusations come from, because some of the guys were from affluent, wealthy families and, you know, decent backgrounds and stuff. So they just had to make me look like a criminal of the century. They tell them all kinds of stuff. They tell them that I'm a hooker, that I'm out blowing people when I'm not. They tell people that I was a lesbian, or that I am a lesbian when I'm not. They tell people I want a sex change operation, that I secretly wanted to be a man when I don't want to be a man, never have wanted to be a man. The only reason I cut my hair short and wore boy clothes at the age of 6 is because I couldn't get my mom to shut up about how my father wanted a boy and not a girl, and that's why we had a strained relationship, me and my father. Actually, the reason why we had a strained relationship, me and my father, was because my mother and my father couldn't get over themselves long enough to realize that they had a 6-year-old in front of them with autism that didn't freaking, you know, deserve to have to deal with any of it. So I've never wanted to be a man ever. So anyway, back to the $900 reimbursement check. I waited for 4 months for that check. It was supposed to be used for my rent after I lost my job. It was my reserve rent money so that I wouldn't lose my apartment in Las Vegas after I got fired. And my social worker from Las Vegas knew about it and knew about it and knew about it, was the one who signed me up for this $900 reimbursement check. And after the 4th month, when I call him, I'm like, look, you know, it's got to be here soon. And he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I never promised you a reimbursement check. But prior to that phone call, we had been talking about the reimbursement check for months prior, about how it should be here any moment, blah, 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 blah. It'll be here. Don't worry, you know, because you have to wait up to 3 months to get it. And some people get it before, and some people really do have to wait the full 3 months. And so I waited, and I finally called in. I'm like, look, I just lost my job, and I really need that check. Do you think we can check on it? And he goes, I don't think I know what you're talking about. The same man who signed me up for the Medicare reimbursement check suddenly didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So obviously he somehow rerouted my check. I'm not accusing him, but he had something to do with it, because all of a sudden he didn't have knowledge of the same thing we once had knowledge of. And some other girl rode off into the sunset with my $900 reimbursement check from Medicare. By the way, it would be nice. I never got that check. So anyway, let's see what else has happened to me. I don't even know. I'm sure I'll come up with more stuff that they have said. Oh, I have never been fisted in my vagina. ever. So if you're watching videotape footage of some person that has, I don't want to talk smack about anyone that's doing that, because I happen to know that there's reasons that certain church communities don't understand because they don't know what's really going on. There's certain reasons why these women are doing these things. And I realize they look awful. But so I don't want to bag the women that are doing these things and going through these things. But there's a reason for it, and it's not some sexual preference. I've never been fisted. One guy tried to do it to me once because I thought I had to. I thought I was in a situation where I didn't have an option. And so he tried. He couldn't get 2 knuckles past my pubic bone. So it's impossible. There is no fist that fits in my vagina. My pubic bone won't let anyone go there. I can't believe I have to say any of this, but I've been made to look like the most embarrassing sexual thing on the face of the earth. I've never wanted the sexual things that they said that I wanted. I've never had stranger rape fantasies. I've never wanted multiple men to come on my face. I never even really wanted my boyfriend to come on my face. To be perfectly honest, I don't really think it's a thing that girls like. If you find an actual girl that likes some guy to come on her face, then I'd like to interview her, because it's kind of rare. Most of us don't really appreciate it. I mean, like, we'll do it for our boyfriends because, it's like their thing. Every once in a while they like to feel like they're, it's like some fantasy they have or whatever. So whatever, it's not a big deal. If you're dating the person. But they've made me sound like I'm some crazy rape fantasy, freaking fisting, dog, vagina licking, all kinds of things that I'm not into. And that, I had one guy have sex with me and call me baby the whole time. I didn't tell him what to say. We're in the middle of a sexual act. I was kind of thrown aback too, but I'm not one to make fun of other people or laugh at someone ever for whatever it is they feel. I didn't know. For all I knew, it was his thing and had nothing to do with me. That's all I could do. It's all I could pass it off as, because I was like, well, maybe this is like, to help him. Maybe it's his fantasy. I don't know. So, I've never had these fantasies, and they've been enacted. I had a large group of people plan on trying to rape me in Las Vegas. I found out about it on Craigslist because I find out all kinds of information because I'm super, ultra, uber smart. How do you think I survived the last 11 years, 8 of which were on the street, sleeping on pavement, with people literally trying to kill me because I'm smart as hell in certain respects and completely mentally retarded in others. So that's autism. So they were making a plan to attack and rape me, and I was 3 miles away from a bus stop on Southern Highlands Parkway and Cactus. I was so far away from a bus stop and had to walk all kinds of places and was petrified. And Cactus is a street, by the way, and it's an intersection, Southern Highlands Parkway and Cactus. And so I was really scared, and people kept spreading false rumors. When me and my ex-boyfriend Jacob were together when I was in my early 20s, we did everything crazy sexual. We role-played. I pretended I was his secretary that he was cheating on me with. We did all kinds of things. We, like rough sex, we tried everything basically. I mean, we had sex in positions I think we invented. But we were just a sexual couple, and I trusted him with my body, and I dated him for 6 years. He was practically my husband. Would I do those things with a complete stranger? Heck no. But he was like my husband. I trusted him with my body. They used that time period to try and justify the crazy things they're doing to me now. It's been 14 or 15 years since then. Well, maybe like 13 to 14 years. And they act like I'm the same person I was when I was 20-something years old. I don't know anybody that ages over a decade and doesn't change somehow. So anyway,